Hey, I'm just going to do a quick video here on Texas ranching. In particular, I'm going to do this on George W. Bush, George Bush Sr. and Jr. Entire, if you like, Jeb Bush, entire Bush family. Texas ranching USA. Uh, the secret that people involved in MK Ultra already learned about, because I was even told in some Texas farms that they, under those circumstances, want to have me as a neighbor. And since I did not understood what exactly they were implying, so I was explained that I'm a ranch thief. Little did I understood what exactly were they talking about. Well, the main partner, MK Ultra partner, the main family in United States of America that was involved in this case, I'm not going to say the longest, but the main partner British royals have partnered with in respect to MK Ultra crime was a Bush family. No, let's see a little bit the posts I have made. I started to make a few days ago. It This stuff does not concern a ranching like Texas ranching. This is what's an issue that is of a much broader implications, and that's why it concerns Ukraine. It heavily concerns Ukraine. It concerns Chechnya. It concerns Dagestan, Bosnia, Croatia, Slovenia, Macedonia, all the countries on the Balkans that Serbia launched war against. Russia launched war against. It concerns actually entire Eastern Europe, such as the countries where war is about to take tomorrow, like let's say Baltic states, maybe Poland, maybe who knows where, maybe Africa, Middle East, and so on. This issue here that sparked this kind of issue. Let's see, this is like anything else here. The U.S. government used me for the theft of ranches. Okay, cool. Okay. All right. I think that this is going to do it. What exactly are we talking about here? This here is the original article that sparked something that definitely it sparked anger in me. Not only because I was tortured in Emory. I'm gonna set these links below this video so that you get to see exactly the stuff I'm talking about. This is like explanation in a very short. However, this explanation is not done well enough. Yes, I could even say that the U.S. government officials, whatever you want to call that, yes and no, Rockefellers were involved in it. The wealthiest American families were involved in it. I got some godfathers that nobody ever got. In every country on earth, there were people that started to pop up that time proof became presidents, and were deriving from like the wealthiest people, from the people with the wealthiest background, or already were established. Definitely presidents and royals, etc., etc., etc. But the point here is a very important issue I have not mentioned. Oh, that's funny here. Billy Bob. Billy Bob. I was seen as a Billy Bob. It was George Bush and his father. His father insisted that George Bush loved Junior loved Billy Bob. And they were inside of this house, inside of this room where I'm at, in the living room. They decided to give me a name, and the name was a Billy Bob. It was a junior that was always referred to me as a Billy Bob. And but George Bush did really well with this video here, where he indicates at the end to Jay Leno, "We got important job to do. We got to go now."
Be sure to subscribe by clicking.
Compost piler.
You too, Mr. President.
Anyway, we got to get out of here.
Oh.
Bye, we'll see you later.
You know, I'm sure there'll be a car along here after a while.
Yeah, I kind of thought, well,
It's okay.
all right.
Bye,
Yeah.
thanks.
And we got something important to do.
See you later.
Okay.
We got something important to do was a goodbye to me always. This was always, always, always. We got something important to do. Well, I was branded as mentally retarded in my third, fourth grade. This is about probably at my age, about, let's say, age 9 or something like this, by Senior and by both of his boys, Junior and Jeb, because I disliked the ranching. Well, the ranching business, JOSIP BROZ TITO was interested in the ranching business because I was so Nazi, so problematic. Josip Broz figured out, this is what Josip Broz insisted me, right? This is what the Serbs came up with, a theory about how I am so Nazi, so problematic, that they simply don't know what the fuck to do with me, because I caused the problems. Everybody in Africa, everybody in Asia, not that they would want any of that stuff, but I was so problematic that this is just the way it was, and they did not know anything what the fuck to do with me. But this, that they did not know what the fuck to do with me, this came very, very late. That they didn't know what the fuck to do with me came really late. This came when I was like 7 years old, something like this. Well, it's fucking late, man, when you already robbed I don't know how many ranches in Texas, where you already commit robbery to God knows how many people that stay without house, roof over their head. Man, some of these people, the only thing that happened was they went into the foreclosure. Whatever they have done to them, they wouldn't get no job. They would go out there. I would go out there with the Texas officials as a child, as a baby, man, as a 40 years old. I was a veteran in this shit. 3 years old, as a 40 years old, I would go out, and what they would do is they would offer them what they refer to as the opportunities, jobs. Now, if they don't take the jobs and so on, then they stay without a roof. They didn't do this to absolutely everybody. They didn't do this to everybody. The ranchers did grab the jobs if the business didn't run for them financially profitable enough to pay for the taxes and stuff like that. They would take jobs and stuff, whatever they offered them. But the thing about this stuff is that not everybody got that opportunity either. Some people did not get that kind of opportunity, and the only thing that happened was the grass started to grow all over the place. Still, it was somebody probably who got this like for a fucking bargain, like for, I'm not going to say dimes of dollars, but it's extremely reduced costs. Well, the George family was like the one at this stuff, and so. One thing I'm going to say to you, I mentioned here they had an office in Dallas, Texas. Before I do this stuff, before I get into those technical issues, They had one in Houston, by the way. The main one was in the Houston. But because I became so familiarized with this stuff, where they would take the contracts, visit they had this realtor that they dealt through. It was like independent realtor that nobody's supposed to know. They use like a different channels to buffer everything so that it would not go through. You know what I mean? So then they opened the office in Dallas. This is actually relatively late, but the original was in Houston, Texas. I ain't gonna go no fucking map because you can open that yourself. You already know. No, it wasn't only one realtor. It became evident that there was more than one realtor involved in it. They were just a shoddy family that you don't know what the fuck goes on. I always was against thefts of the property. Look at me. Look at me good. Why the fuck would I go and support a theft of your ranch? I didn't have the right to own tennis shoes in Slovenia. I didn't have the right to own a jeans jacket in Slovenia. Serbs, their kids were stealing the watches from me, for which, by the way, Japanese demanded when it comes to Casio, because Casio was the one that financed, in a way, this crime. Casio was the one that demanded my parents to pay with their earnings for the watches, bring them home so they could be stolen from me and they could watch that stuff and record that stuff. Sick shit went on in the city of the Novo Mesto. I didn't have no fucking way that I would want to go and for you to have your property stolen, especially because I respected the people wherever I came. You understand me? If I was in Sweden, I never touched a hair from any Swedish person. And the same was when I was in Norway. And the same was when I was in Germany. And the same was when I was in Belarus. And indifferent was wherever the fuck I went. Or I was in Hungary, or I was in wherever I went. I never ever would want the people that were there. Because I consider those people that were there before me, I consider them as, I viewed myself as a newcomer, as somebody who came there, somebody who came into their environment, somebody who's going to have to adjust himself to the prospect. It was indifferent in the US. You understand me? There was nobody in the US that could complain about me, including especially black people, not. That I came and I started to do my way things, something like that. It never was like this. The black people liked me in the US for one reason, because I gave them the respect. If they were from the US, if they were American blacks, especially I respected their heritage. Now, what they did with it during MK Ultra, it's their problem. I cannot be responsible for the stuff, for the corruption, for the stuff. And in post MK Ultra is just a disgrace. But this is the way it is. I felt that Americans, that black Americans, whatever that would be, I felt that they, they were there before I came, and they were part of that element to which I came. And so it's always like this: if you don't like to a certain element, you just basically you don't move in, you don't integrate yourself in. Now, if you like one, then you integrate yourself in. And so, I had American blacks that were friends from work. I met American blacks and was very interested in their way of life. And these American blacks actually deemed that I was dangerous because I wandered into their neighborhoods. I was a weird guy because I would have an open house when I was selling the real estate in a black neighborhood. And I was looking forward to meet black people, to know their culture, because I'm just by the nature, I'm curious. And there's also good looking black ladies that, I was in the US, you understand? So there was no such a thing that I would go out there and go after somebody to take his ranch or property or something. This is no such thing here. I think that if you do this, I don't know about adultery. I cannot swear on adultery. I don't believe into adultery. Actually, I really do not. I believe that if the two are meant for one another, they make clear about their differences ahead of the marriage, ahead of the relationship, or they work on during the relationship. I don't know anything about that, but I'm not a ranch thief thug. That is really a real adultery. That is not okay. That is what is you're not supposed to do. That's like written in the Bible. In my Bible, it is that somebody who works there and is doing his best to survive on his land, you don't go there and fuck him up and take him, destroy him so that you can have his land and stuff like that. That's shit. That's low. That's fucking low. It's like the lowest thing you can do. That's criminal, actually. It's the same shit like you go using your political powers to do that stuff. That's like fucking robbery, man. That's like you take the gun and you say, give me your car. Or give me whatever you have, watch or whatever. That's a robbery. Clearly, that's a robbery. As a politician, as somebody who has, I'm not going to go into those issues. This is just something. I don't know how much American law provides for, but I definitely do not approve any of that stuff. I do not approve anybody ranching out there for somebody's ranch for land for the farm. This is disgusting. Farms, lands where people invest their lives into work, harvestry, so they can survive there. Like I said, this farmers had a very difficult. It was farmers had a big difficulties surviving. It's a disgrace. I was one of the reasons why I also left the United States of America was exactly the reason that I stated. I did not like the fact that ranchers, the people that had land for I don't know how long, were ending up losing their land. I don't like the fact that the government was pushing them basically off their land. This shit went on. Didn't go through Texas only. It went also in other parts of the country. This is disgusting. And that I had to find myself in the middle of it, it's a U.S. government then. But the one who started this, the family that started this in Texas, this was a Bush family. That I guarantee you. That I guarantee you every time I fucking see George Bush hugging Vladimir Putin. This is not such a funny stuff. If Mr. Bushy thought that she called him a Bushy because I called him a Bushy, basically. His wife, if you're going to watch this video, she called him a Bushy. I was the only one who called him Bushy, but only in my videos. He was trying to get cute here with me, Bush. This portion of MK Ultra or J-Lana had me with Bush was not very pleasant. You don't understand. They do understand, but no, I spend a lot of time under MK Ultra. I see things a little bit different. Yeah, I get really hot when I think about this stuff. Um, you know, giving me advice about the Ford and stuff, and all these issues they embedded, because I didn't like Texas because they didn't have a running water, and it goes here. Yeah, I think I clarified actually this issue today here. This is as far as I have to say about it. This is totally unrealistic. This is totally unrealistic. Why the fuck would I go but this was about the ranching and stuff like this. Man, I started Texas ranching when I was 3 years old. And, you know, I ended up inside of the psychiatric hospital. That's pathetic. When I was 41 years old, I ended up inside of the psychiatric hospital in Slovenia. You know, I was not allowed actually to giving U.S. American citizenship to my advantage. I don't know what you were trying to say to me in this video here as I go, what the fuck? I mean, what do you... This video here did not convince me about absolutely anything. I mean, you were trying to apologize, but the video that you have made, I'm going to make the video to follow up on your video to give you a bitter taste of reality. This doesn't pertain to me. This pertains to you because this is how you wanted to lie about my case. The reality is completely different. The reality is this here. George Bush, Putin. That's all you gotta do, look. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Is it? How about Ford 150 and Putin in one? How about that other ranch that Putin visited so much? Putin visited Texas a whole lot. But who the fuck is Putin? Who is this guy? This is a nobody. And who is the guy who sits inside of the car? This is another, next to Putin, or with the Putin, this is another nobody. And so who the fuck am I? Well, let me explain you. Who the fuck am I? Do you want to make videos like this? I don't know. You shouldn't. You make yourself look really, really stupid. I'm sure you know this guy here. Yeah? So, this guy, let me see this. This guy was a good friend with Soviets. Actually, now you're all going to say he was an enemy and so on. Yes, he was an enemy. He didn't want to give Yugoslavia, Federation of Yugoslav republics, to the Soviet occupation, yes. But he also had like the biggest reach toward West because Yugoslavia was separated from Soviet, from the Russia, from the influence of Russia by several countries. This is no fucking Romania or something like that. You know? Romania has a border with the Ukraine, and Ukraine during the Soviet Union time, you know, it was Ruski. Ukrainians felt completely Soviet. I mean, if Romanians wanted to give up, they would face the same shit as the Hungarians did, or let's say Czechs did. They'll have a Soviet military, Russian and Ukrainian, marching right straight to Hungary or to Czech Republic and smash them down. The same year with the Romania. Romania would actually even have to face problem for Bulgaria, because Bulgaria was pro-Soviet. Understanding the Soviet Union, that's one thing. This is not today's world. The reality during the Soviet Union was completely different than today. Polacks didn't know who the fuck they were, because Stalin gave them a country that didn't exist for 1,000 years. They got a coastline. They got here, I mean, completely different country. I mean, it's a totally different country. I mean, if you wanted to go fight the Soviets, the Soviet Union was a different country throughout the time. In the Soviet Union, there was so many border changes while it remained listed as a Soviet Union that you have no fucking idea. The world, probably Americans don't even understand, younger generations, what went on in the Soviet Union. But Soviet Union was a transition The main party in the Soviet Union was Russia. But other than that, the Soviet Union was all this here, the Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, all this, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, Belarus, this is all Soviet Union. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, these are Soviet republics. And so, borders change with self-awareness. Self-awareness comes within the conflict. And so when it comes to conflict, that was a main party that played the role in it. This is who I am. I was not favorite of Josip Broz Tito. Josip Broz Tito wanted to kill me. Josip Broz Tito wanted to kill me because his colleagues, Soviets, wanted to kill me, and or use me to their advantage as much as possible and get me killed. There was no mercy for the babies in the Soviet Union, and I am certain none in the US either. When it comes to the Western democracy, this is, all right, man, if you say so. All right. You say that you have a constitution and all that. Yeah, all right, if you say so. Okay. That's your word. That's what you say. Facts are talking different. So, Yugoslavia, where you see Croatia, Serbia, and all this, Slovenia, Sarajevo, Kosovo, North Macedonia, what is this here? Podgorica. This was not a Romania. Romania could have military march inside. Yugoslavia was far from it. Yugoslavia, if the Soviets wanted to march to Yugoslavia, they had to go through Bulgaria, they had to go through Romania, they had to go through the Hungary. Those are not republics of the Soviet Union. Those are still listed as independent countries. And west of Yugoslavia, there was Austria and there was Italy. So the chances that Yugoslavia would not get military assistance, actually on the south you have Greece also, the chances did not exist that Yugoslavia would not get military assistance. They would not win the war in Yugoslavia. This is what the Soviets knew, that they would not win one. The only way to win the war in Yugoslavia was to use Tito, allow Tito to do his socialism, communism, as they refer to one as. And that was a rotten communism as anything can possibly rotten in this world. Those were the days when MK Ultra, they were learning about, I think also, I don't know, it was already very, very advanced. I'm talking about 71. Maybe I should say they just, it doesn't matter what. This is what the situation was. This is what the situation was. And this is what the situation have developed into since. How much this got to do with the subject I'm referring to you right now? Well, Josip Broz Tito claimed with the Serbs, with the Chetniks, when I was about 7 years old, 6 years old, that I'm problematic, that I like white women, that I like the sexy ladies, the white ladies. And as such, that I made a problem for them in Asia, in Africa, throughout the world, and don't know what the fuck to do with me. So they came up with an idea, all right? And basically that was to get me a ranch far away from Yugoslavia, on the other side of the ocean, in Texas, USA. So, and I was going to become a rancher. And that I even have already experience in it. And that's basically the stuff here I'm referring to. You know, this kind of stuff. This. Links you're going to be able to read. I'm not going to go over this stuff. I'm going to spit on my liver and kidney. I just want to clarify the stuff still I have not talked about. But that would be the best thing for me to do, is disappear basically from Yugoslavia. And in fact, the opportunity opened. Big fucking opportunity, the breakthrough for me. Let me just see something here. So this was probably when I was 7 years old, 6 years old, that opportunity opened. And what I mean by the opportunity opened is JOSIP and BROZ TITO suddenly changed and started to insist me that they will start to introduce into American environment people from the Eastern Bloc. Those, however, could only be a special kind of people, with my being selected as one of them under condition that I would act as a UDBA, as a KGB individual. So therefore that I would represent interests of Moscow and interests of Belgrade. So this was a big, big, big breakthrough opportunity for me, literally through Texas, which, however, just as I have stated here, and just like everything else, never came through. I am, however, glad that it came through for the Serbian Chetniks, which, however, proceeded to use this type of opportunity, this type of atmosphere, to literally seed Serbians into Texan farmlands. Literally, they started to import Serbs through the family that you see right here. They opened them through the realtors, through the doors to the U.S. government. They started to import them, meaning they started to, white pride worldwide, Sieg Heil, Heil Hitler program. And that kind of program started when this started probably in 1978, I would say. Let's just put it this way, something like that. So don't fucking say that something was wrong with me. There was somebody else that had plans for something we watch happening today in Ukraine, and what we have seen also have taken place throughout the Balkans, during which Bill Clinton have ensured that Serbs would get aligned portions of Bosnia, of Bosnian Federation, turn one into a Republika Srpska. So don't go fucking teach me about what I remember and what I do not remember, and post don't do that to me, because the guy right there standing, that's not me. There are just two really, really confused guys with a whole lot of lies. But none of these two guys is me, because I know my whereabouts in Texas. I know exactly what I was used for. It was far more than ranching. Yeah? And this man here that you see that is standing as a US president is a nobody compared to me. And not this man that you see standing there as a US president, but his father, both of them, the entire family, all the politicians they had, are none compared to myself. The Soviet Union was a big beast that went through many transitions, of which borders, before it succumbed to its knees, you will never see anywhere in the map. But those that were involved in this stuff, like Central Intelligence Agency, British MI5, British intelligence, German intelligence, entire Western intelligence, and Asian, Chinese intelligence, and Japanese, and everybody watched this stuff. So I am really, really shocked. I'm really, really surprised that I actually get to live in a shadow of this here. This is basically what I okay, so you're gonna get my signature. I'm gonna give you my signature, just like you see right there. That's why I did that. So that you will remember what you did. Not about who you met, how it all went, but what you have done. What your contribution was to all this, who you are, and to whom you have done stuff like this. Yeah, the Serbs actually did penetrate it through ranch robberies, which supposedly I committed to the Texas, literally. They started to buy themselves. So, you know, the war in Ukraine, it's not a war in Ukraine, it's a world stability that is at stake at large. There is something else that's happening. No, Americans didn't like, supposedly that's what they claimed, what Russians did to Ukraine. But that's something to be yet determined. And it's a question how much they didn't like. It's always a question to what degree they didn't like. I know they didn't oppose Bosnia, Balkan Wars takeover, Serbian takeover. When the war developed, they managed somehow to maintain peace, but the whole thing is wrapped into a situation out of which at any time the war can explode, because Serbs call for the war all the time. And I don't want to be strong as any kind of condemnations when it comes to that, because I can always be proven wrong, and I don't allow to be proven wrong, because nobody has the right to prove me wrong. The stuff I state is factual stuff. And when you say something where politicians, just like have explained here today, when you state something that politicians have control over, but you do not, more likely than not, if you're a person like myself, you're going to be proven wrong. And it's too bad. It's pity. It's sad. It would be sad that somebody like this would prove me wrong. That people like this would prove me wrong. Yes. So just remember this video so that you will know whatever issue that I mentioned, that it applied to your life, because it did. It changed the way of life. It changed whatever you are in the world. It's not about applying to the US or Western Europe or whatever. It's applying to a much bigger picture. Definitely, you know, and Dagestan and Chechnya and Tajikistan and so on and so forth, I would not go into it. That make no fucking difference. It made a difference to ensure Russians that they have little to fear from. American-Russian trade weapons that smoothly transitioned to Russia under George Bush, under Bill Clinton, under Barack Obama, under other presidents that served, Donald Trump, the biggest president of them all who served in the background, however, was Joe Biden. Went on, definitely, till the conflict in Ukraine happened. And that's the conflict that maybe will result in this letter that you see here, this X here. Yeah, but so far we have seen this here. We haven't seen other than this. You know, these are one big fucking crooks from Texas. Crooks. Because of whom I lost 52 years of my life. And eventually, at my age 41, ended even inside of the psychiatric hospital. Crooks who began to claim how much damage I have done to them and so on and so forth, that eventually got me delivered literally into this here. I'm looking for that prison facility that I had earlier, this one, and 3 other facilities. Because everything was, if something bad would have happened to me, they already found a prison for me. This is George Bush. This is a Bush family. If something bad was to happen to you, you understand? We already made sure we will find you a prison where you would be transferred to, so it wouldn't be that bad.
Startled us a little bit, so not a little bit, a lot, you know.
So this is not a
Erin
bad place.
claims
This
she'd been drugged
place
and
is
kidnapped
good.
from the house.
Let me see that.
But after just 2 days, the disturbing truth had emerged.
They had this facility, one facility, they actually had horses next to it. That kind of stuff. And that was to help me out. One prison facility with some kind of horses. I didn't even go through this prison facilities. I didn't study this case enough to say this facility, that facility, whatever. But what I'm saying, this is the way it is. One facility, there was a facility, a prison facility that in 2002 or whatever, that it was at the request of George Bush that next to one they had like area with the horses, whatever. That's it. That's the end of it. I don't want to say some other stuff here to it because it's just too much stuff that I have seen, that I have gone through. That's enough of it. The ranching business that resulted eventually in this here. This was the ranching business. And what we see today in Ukraine, this is a ranching business. So that just so that you understand, well, the Ukraine could be X, okay, but it definitely empowered Russia to the degree that they started to recreate the Soviet Union in a really, really ugly way, killing people with whom they even share, according to their claims, the same DNA, the same human DNA. This is disgusting. And what I find in particularly disgusting is that I don't want to go into it. I don't want to get into this stuff here. I don't want to get into this stuff. Okay? This is basically the stuff I was used for. This is what I was used for. That's why. No. This is why. This is how. There you go.